After a lengthy process that lasted more than 2 years, Brazil finally has a comprehensive data protection law in place. The General Personal Data Protection Law, or LGPD, entered into force in September 2020, and while its enforcement provisions will not be effective before August 2021, the law creates extensive requirements for organizations that process the personal information of Brazilian citizens. Bills for a comprehensive data protection law had been discussed in Brazil for several years, with momentum gaining in light of other global developments such as the CCPA and the GDPR, and on the 14th of August 2018, the LGPD was passed. The law was further amended in 2019 to provide for the competences and the structure of the National Data Protection Authority, the ANPD, and in relation to the requirement for certain organizations to appoint data protection officers who would act as points of communication. Although Brazil's ANPD has not yet been fully established, companies have been preparing for the variety of obligations the LGPD imposes. In examining these, it's possible to draw comparisons with the EU's General Data Protection Regulation, as the LGPD bears similarity with respect to the provisions regarding the rights afforded to data subjects, including the right of access, rectification, portability, and withdrawal of consent, as well as the legal obligation for controllers and processors to maintain a record of the processing activities under their responsibility, and to perform data protection impact assessments. It's also important to be aware of the LGPD's provisions regarding vendor management, where processors must act according to a data controller's instructions, the latter being entitled to verify that such instructions are being followed. Moreover, processors will be jointly liable for any damages caused by the processing if the processor fails to comply with the obligations of the LGPD or fails to follow the lawful instructions of the controller. The LGPD does differ to the GDPR in a number of ways, however, one such example being in relation to the additional legal basis for processing provided under the LGPD. Organizations should also be aware that, in the event of a data breach, the controller must notify the ANPD and data subjects of the occurrence of any security incident that may result in any relevant risk or damage to the data subjects. Such notice will need to contain specific information. Breaches of the provisions of the LGPD can also result in fines of up to 2% of the sales revenue of the legal entity in its last fiscal year, excluding taxes, up to a total maximum of 50 million Brazilian real, approximately 8 million euros. To continue researching key compliance requirements in Brazil, use jurisdiction dashboards to quickly access the latest regulatory developments and best practice from leading experts.